Hello and welcome to EE 447. I'm your instructor, Gregory Myers. In this video, we're going to take a look at different types of lists in HTML. We're going to look at the unordered list, an ordered list, and the description list. For this video, the resources that you're going to need will be your editor, as well as the W3 Schools list page on HTML lists. And it would also be useful for you to have the HTML OL tag up as well. For the source of these lists, I'm simply going to use the Electrical and Computer Engineering course catalog for examples. So to begin with, I want us to go File, New File, and go ahead and create an HTML page. For this particular example, I'm not going to be looking too much at the styles yet. I'm going to focus more on the structure of the list. So any CSS that we might have will either be inline or in document. All right, so to begin with, let's go ahead and save the file. In this case, we're going to continue to use our HTML folder and the same pattern that we have from earlier examples. And we're going to call this one example underscore list underscore 01. And so in this case, it's going to be example underscore list underscore 01 for the title. Once again, you don't have to keep that consistent with the file name. Just a personal preference of mine. All right, reminder to either set the default to split for the view if you're using Visual Studio, or select it so that that way you can see the source and the design. And we're going to go ahead and put our lists directly in our body. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a unordered list with the UL tag. And an unordered list consists of items that can be in any order. Order does not matter, but the element inside the unordered list will be a list item. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to simply leverage our catalog. In this case, I'm just going to focus on a few of our courses. So we're going to start off with the first list item of EE 233, followed by EE 333, and then we're going to focus on this course, EE 447. I'm going to go ahead and save it real quick so that way we update our design view, and you'll see that I now have 3 items in our list with bullets, bullet points in front of them. All right, so continuing on with this example here, I'm going to go ahead and make a second unordered list, with the difference being this time the list items, I want them to look a little bit fancier, have a little more of a purpose. And the whole example here that I'm showing you is that we can nest different elements within our list items. Okay, so we're going to start off by nesting additional tags. What we're going to do is we're actually going to change the text example from earlier into a hyperlink. To do that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go over to the course catalog, and you'll see that each one of our courses, some of them have the prerequisite hyperlinks that actually takes you back to the search engine for the course catalog. And with a little bit of trial and error, you should notice that basically you can discover all of the courses in the course catalog using the search feature followed by a parameter. And we're going to talk more about this later on because we're actually going to utilize this. Excuse me. But the thing that you should notice is this %20. The %20 is what allows for us to pass to the search engine in our catalog the space between EE and 233. So it's EE space 233. So spaces, when you pass them in a hyperlink, need to be replaced with the %20, which is one of the special characters that we saw in one of our earlier slides. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to copy the URL, and we're going to bounce back to this page several times, but we want to copy that URL, and we want to put it in the href attribute. And in between the A tags, we simply want to put the text that we'd like for the user to see, and we can stop with EE233. Or what we could also do is we could include the name of the course, all right? And that's either's perfectly fine. Basically, we just want to demonstrate our ability then to insert a hyperlink into a linked list. And we're going to do this with the other courses that we listed in the previous example. And so we're going to have the hyperlink followed by the title of the course. I'm going to go back once again to the course catalog. We can, at this point, you can hopefully see the pattern that it's going to be 333 for the search parameter, and we get engineering programming using objects. And so we include that in the text for the hyperlink. And then also we want to capture the URL from the address bar, and that goes into the href attribute. And then lastly, we have a tag now for our course, our EE447. And once again, followed by the description or the title of the course. So I'm just going to simply replace those last three numbers. Well, that's rather interesting. It appears as if this link is broken. I'm going to make sure and point that out because we do have that in the course catalog. There we go. I must have just mistyped it there. All right. And then so there is our description, title, and then the URL. All right, and so you can see the difference here between the two. Now we have actually hyperlinks in our linked list. It would probably be a good time to go ahead and save your file and then go find the folder that you have saved it in, and then go ahead and pull it up in your web browser to see if there's any distinct differences between the two. There should not be in this particular example. And you can verify that the links work just simply by selecting our EE233 or our EE447. And you see now that you can sort of build your own custom list of links to the courses that you have taken. All right, continuing on with that, then what we would like to do is we'd like to see what an ordered HTML list looks like. Once again, we're not going to focus too much on the style at this point. We're actually going to use strictly HTML tags and attributes, but in this case it's very similar. We want to use an OL tag, and inside the OL tag will be our list item, and I'm going to emphasize this one a little differently. We're going to just go and use an option with a number following it, so an option number 1, and then list item option number 2, and then list item, and then option number 3. Perhaps not the most creative one example here, but if you save this, you'll see now that the ordered list automatically prepends a number by default to the beginning of each one of the list items. All right. So we can control the behavior of whether we want numbers or letters. And what I've done here simply is I've recopied the example. And if you go back to the W3C schools page, you'll see that there is an attribute for the ordered list. The attribute that we're interested in is type. And you can choose whether you want numbers or letters or Roman numerals. And so to see a little bit of variation right here, we're going to start off by using the type attribute. And we're going to specify the capital letter A. So if we say this one more time, you'll see now that it starts with capital letter A and then continues on propagating the alphabet. All right, and one more example here. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this entire table over one more time just to see a different type. And if you take a look once again, you've got 4 other options here. Once again, the default is just going to be numeric, but we're going to use a capital I in this particular example. And you can see now I'm using Roman numerals. And then lastly, we're going to sort of combine a couple of features here. We're going to indicate that we want the numeric. And then what we want to do is we want to start it at a later value. We'll just pick 4. And this is a continuation of a list. And you'll see now that it starts with 4 and continues on with other additional indexing. You can do something similar with the other types. However, it may not be quite as intuitive. We're going to continue with this 3 list item example. We're just simply going to copy and paste it once again. This time, however, I'm going to change the type to alphabetic, capital letter A. And your first thought might be that you would specify the D to start with, but instead what you do is you actually specify the index that you wish to start with. And now if you see, you'll actually have the option number 1, 2, and 3 with the starting value of D. You can also do this with Roman numerals. And if you save this one, you'll see that you have 4, 5, and 6 in Roman numerals. The third type of list I'd like for us to look at are the HTML description lists. Now, they're probably the least used of the 3, probably just for no other reason than the fact that the first 2 accomplish most of what you will probably see yourself doing. But let's go ahead and go through an example here. It starts off with the DL tag, which is for the description list, the outer tag. The main difference with the description list is that unlike in the unordered and ordered list where you have a single element inside or a single type of element, a child element inside, you have 2 different tags that you're interested in here, and that is going to be the DD tag as well as the DT tag. So let me go ahead and get these set up for us, and we'll talk real quick about what the difference is. Essentially, one is the title or the item in the description list, the DD tag. The second one, the DT tag, is the definition. So we can just call this, once again, we'll do option number 1. And I'll tell you what, just to have a little bit of relevancy to one of the earlier videos, we'll say this is option number 1 for CSS. And that is going to be to have inline style. Continuing on with that then is going to be the DD tag, followed by the DT tag. And the DD tag for option is going to be option number 2 for CSS. And that was to aggregate all of the style at the top of the document, specifically the top of the HTML document. And then our third option, so option number 3 for CSS, was going to be to have aggregate all of the style in a separate file. All right, and so if we save this one, you'll see that you get sort of this staggered behavior. A second here, let's view this in the browser real quick. So my apologies on this one. I've accidentally switched our tags on this. I meant to put the term first and then the description. So that was why we have that weird appearance here. So we switched the DT tag. The DT is the term, DD is the description. All right. Something didn't look right there when I updated it. All right, now let's see here. It looks like in our web browser, much better. All right. So hopefully you found this video useful. There's going to be other videos in this series about how to work with lists, including modifying the style, both using HTML attributes as well as CSS. As always, let me know if you've got any comments or suggestions. Thank you for watching.